Talking Joe podcast, minds in motion. Talk about relationships, help your emotions. Behavior management when your kids start to losing it. Talk about life and all the confusion. Minds in motion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships. I'm talking Joe podcast, minds in motion. Talk about relationships, help your emotions. Behavior management when your kids start to losing it. Talk about life and all the confusion. Minds in motion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships. Emotion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships.
With me, your host, Jewel. This evening, I want to let you know that we're going to have a great episode as we always do. Tonight, it's a special episode because I have two guests on at the same time. This is the first for me. We're going to be live on several platforms tonight. So Facebook, we're going to be on YouTube and Twitch. And we are also on radio tonight. So we're going to be on TDN Radio Live, Caribbean Radio, and we're going to be on GTM Radio. Let me just make sure I have the right name. GTM Radio. We're live on SBE Radio also. So thank you to all the listeners and viewers at the top of the show for listening in and viewing. Tonight I have two great speakers. They're here to talk to you about financial literacy and the great things that they're doing. They're helping marginalized youth and adults gain the tools and knowledge they need to improve their finances. So without further ado, let's welcome Craig and Dean from Checks Over Strikes onto the stage. So the platform. All right, so Craig and Dean, welcome. So as I said, it's a first for me having two guests. Normally, I do another show called Dissect, and I have a co-host, so we tag team. But this time it's two of you, so we might find ourselves speaking over each other at sometimes, but it's okay. We'll just, be respectful and pause where we can. Who wants to go first? So who wants to introduce themselves first? So we're going to do quick introductions and get into the topic tonight.
I say Dean.
Okay, so my name is Dean. I go by Dean the Wealth Coach on Instagram. And I am I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have several businesses. And this is kind of like my baby, financial literacy, that I started with Craig back in 2020. So just a little short introduction.
Okay, fair.
And my name is Craig, and I am definitely, like Dean, a serial entrepreneur as well. I have other businesses as well. And again, financial literacy for me is just an important topic because it's something that I didn't learn. Neither did Dean. And we just want to kind of close the gap on just the experience that people go through. We share our stories, we share our experiences, and we just want other people to be better than us and don't go down the same pitfalls that we've gone through just by teaching us the fundamentals of financial literacy.
Okay. So I was telling these two gentlemen backstage that I came across their book before I actually knew who they were or who they are. So they wrote a book about 5 years ago. I came across this book. I was at a barbershop and the barber had this book and I said, oh, this looks interesting. Checks Over Strikes presents Don't Be a Waste Youth, the Financial Literacy Guide, the youthful person that is a waste of time and space. So that's what a waste youth means. So I saw the book and he said, do you want it? I said, yes, I bought it. And I started to use it with some students that I tutor and currently it's on my desk at work. So it's being used. So how did that come about? The inception of writing the book, and then let's move towards present day.
So how the book came about, I had the idea. I always had the idea to write a book, and it's just always been my dream. Like from when I was younger, I used to like draw little cartoons, make my own type of books. But as I got older, I had a friend I went to school with, and he wrote an autobiography, and it inspired me. It's like if he can write a book, I can write a book. And usually, when you're in close proximity of somebody, things that you didn't think were possible become possible now. And maybe a couple years after, I never really had the idea as to what I wanted to write. And I came across a post on social media. Funny enough, social media usually is brain rot stuff, but it was something that kind of helped me figure out. It's like, oh, this is how I can write a book, right? So I had this idea I can speak better than I can write. So instead of writing out the book, I kind of just spoke it out, like with a cousin of mine and a close friend. And because I was able to articulate what I had to say, I kind of created an outline. And then one day, I think this was like December-ish times, Craig randomly called me 2019. He's like, yo, I got 7 girls that want to learn or want to purchase a property, and I think we should partner or whatever. I don't know why Craig called me. Like, it was just God talking, and it's like, you need to come together about this, right? So I was like, yo, this is perfect, because like I'm in the midst of writing a book. Like, we can see if this information sits well with them, you know? So he's like, all right. So we started mentoring them. COVID happened, so we were meeting up with them like once a week. We're giving them activities, going through like everything that we learned. Like, and when I say everything that we learned, it was, here's the mistakes we made, do the exact opposite. So don't do these things, because you're just gonna go down the hole of trying to catch back up, right?
Yeah.
So we're teaching them all the information, find your credit score, how to leverage it, all these things, right? And they literally, everything that we told them, they were writing it down. They were just doing it to a T. Come summertime, they were able to come together, formulate several businesses, and gross $40,000 during the summer. So he said, yo, we have something. Like, we need to put this information into a book and get it to the masses. So we started working on the book for about 6 months, put the book together, and then it came to life. And I've always had the title in my head, just Don't Be a Waste, but I don't know what I want to put behind it, right? And it kind of just made sense to put that, because for me growing up, I didn't like reading. I'm dyslexic, and it's challenging for me to read, right? Or it was challenging for me when I was a kid. And I met this one teacher. She kind of steered me in the direction of find material that you actually like reading. And then I got into like Goosebumps and whatnot, and I started slowly just picking up the reading habit. But funny enough, after like Goosebumps series, I kind of stopped reading until like after college, university, maybe in my late 30s, I started reading again. But it's because I found something that I actually enjoyed reading. So again, talking about money is not fun. People like spending it, but they don't like talking about it. So he said, how do we make it where it's like, I need to be reading this? So I told Craig, I was like, yo, Don't Be a Waste, the financial literacy guy. He's like, cool, I like that. And then we took it, we slapped it, we figured out how we're gonna do it. Like, we did extensive research, like the color scheme to use, the size of the book. Like, we were like really going into it. We're like, if it's too thick, people are not gonna read it. We need to make sure it's nice and condensed. They can go through it like this, right? And
thank you for that, by the way.
People still complain that it's too long, and it's just like, it's only 60 pages. Like, how is that too long? But we made it so it's like it's not intimidating, because when you get a book like this, you see a book this thick, you're like, no, I'm not picking that up, right? That's too thick. Like, we judge book, like they always say, don't judge a book by its cover, but we're judging books by its thickness, and that's the wrong way to go about it. Because one thing I'll put out there, and I heard this before, is somebody, I can't remember who said it to me, but they're like, you want to know how you hide stuff from Black people? I was like, what? They're like, put it in a book. And I was like,
interesting.
So when I heard that, I was just like, I got to start reading again. I need to pick up books and
knowledge.
Exactly, right? But when you have knowledge, you have to apply it, because if you don't apply it, you're just entertaining yourself, right?
Yes.
So we put the book together, and day one, we just started sending out, blasting people like, hey, this is the book that we wrote. This is why we're writing it. Like, literally, like our mission statement behind it. And day one, we just started getting sales like crazy. for the book, and then as people are seeing it, it's like, oh, did you see this book? And it kind of had its own virality because of the title alone. Because people are like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
did you see that title of the book?
Yeah.
Don't be a waste. And the kids that don't read, they look twice now. Like, that's not a real title. I'm like, yeah. And then
Mm,
because they see the title, now they're gonna actually open it up to see what's actually inside the book. And then
right.
the way we wrote the book, we didn't throw all like the bank terms, the financial terms in there. We broke it down in such a simple way that anybody can just pick it up and understand what we're trying to, the messages, the message that we're trying to convey to people.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. Like it is catching, definitely catching. If you do see, I'm so sad I don't have the book. Do you have a copy with you, but on hand, or no?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's
I do. I do.
you
I
do?
have it at my. I can get it. It's not at my
Okay.
actual product, but
Okay. Yeah. So people can see what he's
I'll go,
describing.
I'll go get it.
In a moment you can do that. Um,
Get it quickly.
so you have an accounting background, Dean,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Um, so that's why you were able to speak to these 7 individuals about giving them financial advice about how to go about, I guess, purchasing that
Yeah.
property. Okay.
So how that came about is growing up, I was kind of considered like the smart one of the bunch. So people would always ask me questions, and whenever something intrigues me, I like go full force and learn about everything, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I learned, my mom used to work in a bank, so she taught me about saving, right? And then she taught me about credit and to like protect your credit with all means. Like your credit is an extension of you, right? This is how the world views you.
Yeah.
So those two things I always made sure like I was on point with it. And as I got older and things that I wanted to do, I started learning about these different things like investing, and I was like, what's investing? Like,
Mm-hmm.
putting money into something and getting a return on it. I was like, oh, I don't have to work for money. I can make my money work for me. I was like,
Yeah.
great. This is what I want to start doing, right? And more things just kept opening for me, and I just kept learning. And
Mm-hmm.
when I thought these things were common sense, it wasn't common sense. Like, majority of my friends that I grew up with had bad credit, or like nobody taught them this stuff, or nobody was saving money. I was like, why don't you guys save money? Like, it's the easiest thing that you can do. You have no responsibilities. You don't have kids to take care of. You don't have to pay for the mortgage or rent. Like, save your money, right? So I wasn't the one that, as I got money, spent that money. It's like, let me just put it away and let me see how much I can grow this to. Mind you, when I was saving money, I didn't really have a purpose for saving. So as
Right.
I saved it, then it was gone right after, right? Until I got older and understood
Understand.
the purpose of why you're saving, right?
Okay.
So when I thought these things were common sense to people, what I started to notice, it was a community thing. Like nobody knew about these things. Like it's like black people always have bad credit. And I was like, why are we saving or we're renting instead of having mortgages and owning homes, right? And it was a common theme in the community. And I was like, nah, like this, we have to change things around. And then when I went to school for accounting and finance, I learned how to do taxes. And I was like, again, I'm gonna make some money, right? Teach you and like, do all these things. And when I started doing people's taxes, that's when everything just opened for me. Like people didn't know about the credits that they could be getting, um, how to reduce their taxes. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, like this is a wide gap that nobody's attacking and like to
Mm-hmm.
help people, right? And then the biggest place that you thought people would learn about this stuff is in the school board. And they never taught us about this. They teach us about spheres and geometry, but it's like, I'm not going to be an architect. That's not what I want to do. Teach me about stuff that I need to know to survive in the real world.
Yeah.
So that's when I said, that's what I'm going to write about, financial literacy. And then the whole thing just came together.
Okay. Like how the West Indian people say, stick a pin. So we're gonna pause on Dean for a minute. Let's hear from Craig. Dean, that was amazing, amazing, great start to this. Um, it's I think it's a new venture for some people that might be tuning in and listening. So let's pause for a minute with you, Dean. Craig, give us your side of how you evolved through this journey with Dean.
So again, 2019, I was still working at Bell Canada, and I just came to a standstill. I was there for 16 years. I didn't think I was fulfilling what I needed to do, and I didn't want to continue setting out to fulfill someone else's dream. of building a company that's not mine. So I kind of at the time I spoke to my mentor, and I was telling him, I'm kind of on the fence of wanting to leave and do my own thing. And he just gave me something simple, like simple advice. He's like, well, go for it. If it doesn't work, you have a skill set. You can come back. And I was like, why didn't I think about that? Like, you made it so easy. And I was thinking it was such a difficult decision. But at the same time, it was difficult because I knew that leaving and doing things for myself, it could create a type of anxiety that if I failed, then what would I do? But like he said, okay, if something doesn't work out, you just come back and you have the skill set, just do what you do best. But I said to myself, I'm not gonna fail. Like in my head, I'm like, I'm not gonna fail. And at the time I had some money saved away. And most recently I had just sold a condo. Between my cousin and I, we bought something and we sold it in 2019. So I said, you know what, I have some cushion. So again, if it complete doesn't work, I have some money I could sit back on, and then I'll get back into the workforce if I need to. And that's when it kind of all started. Like Dee mentioned, somewhere in around November, December, it was like, okay, you know what? He had an idea to write a book. The 7 individuals came to me. They want to, invest in real estate. And when Dean said, honestly, when he said write a book, my mindset was kind of negative. I was like, man, we can't write a book. You know how long it takes to write a book? And again, that is a major pitfall for our community when it comes to mindset. Yes. We put a fence, or we put something that it could be impactful when it's really not. Like when you already tell yourself you can't do something, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Yep. Yeah.
Like you're already telling yourself subconsciously, I can't do it. So why would I do it? But Dean's like, he had a plan. He's like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And this is how it's going to make sense. And I was like, aha, like it made sense to me. So, and plus the vision that he had, I was, on that vision. We thought the same way. So I was like, okay, let's just do this. And again, fast forward, 6 years later, 7,000 books sold, we're in the TDSB, and we're just pushing the narrative that financial literacy is important, no matter how big you are, how little you are, or whether you know something or you don't know something. A lot of people have to understand that when you were born, we didn't know anything. We had to learn some way, somehow. So we didn't want people to have this, standoffish type of, characteristics or behavior. Say, hey, you know what, I don't want to do this or I don't want to learn about this because I just don't know. But that's what we wanted. We wanted to teach people that didn't know, because what you don't know, you don't know. So at the end of the day, if you don't know something, the only way you're going to learn or to know something is you got to learn about it, or you got to read about it, as Dean mentioned. So that was just kind of the journey of the book. Was it hard? Yes, without a doubt. Was it difficult? Yes. But we knew we had something when we did, the pilot project with the young ladies. And then because we'll be totally transparent, when we went to the school board, we didn't get in our first try. They told us no. Like, no, there's the information that you guys are giving is for adults. And we challenged it. We were like, no, Dean and I were like, okay, listen, we need to speak to somebody else.
Yes.
What you're saying doesn't make sense to us, because we were like, what do kids turn into?
Yes, adults, exactly.
Why would we wait until they reach 19, 21 to teach them?
Now teach them the skill sets that they should have learned earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when we had said that on the call, the one of the ladies or the admins from TDSB were like, okay, we're going to get you a meeting with someone.
Immediately.
Yeah. And we just didn't stop. We didn't stop until we got into the school board. And again, we were just on the mission to change lives, especially lives within, high risk marginalized areas. And we want to change lives for people that look like us. Okay. That was very, very important for us.
Thank you for that. I like that you said that. And I feel like I gotta watch what I say too, because I work for the major industry institution, but it's an industry because it's a business, right? So it's a model that they've set up to almost have people fail if they don't. It's like survival of the fittest, right? If you know if you figure out how to play that system, you will survive that system, right? And so you're almost like, it's an awakening what you guys are doing, you're giving an awakening to the students that they need this stuff. They can't wait until they get into adulthood to learn the foundation of saving, right? Financial literacy is now. It's not when you're an adult. So I'm glad that you got in and things are working out for you. So the reason why I invited the two of you on is to talk about financial literacy, not just for kids, but for our people. Our people, and I'm talking about melanated people, African and Caribbean diasporic people. A lot of us grew up knowing our parents, and maybe some of us have not experienced this, but knowing our parents being in susus and padnas and this way of saving system, because I mean, I don't know if we know the history of that, but there's a reason why they were saving the money together and not putting them in financial institutions. But now that we're in 2026, how can we leverage these communal saving habits to formally invest them in markets without raising red flags in the traditional banks? How can we leverage this type of saving without raising red flags? Is there something that you can think of?
It's hard to say, but
It's hard to say because, yeah,
it's the ideas I have is it starts small, but it can be something. But the easy or the best place I would say is to start with real estate and start building that way. And it doesn't necessarily have to be properties; it can just be land, because land is the number one thing that always appreciates. Land never depreciates. That's one asset that we don't. That's one resource we don't have limited supply or unlimited supply of it. So when land is all gone, like there's nowhere else to plant yourself, right? So I think land and just holding it, because funny enough, I have a friend, childhood friend that I grew up with, and we are having this conversation, and he was like, yeah, just he's like, look where the population's going and just buy the land and just sit on it and wait. It could be 10, 20 years. But the moment they get there, that land just appreciates so quickly. And you don't have to pay that much for the land. You just sit there, just wait for a developer to come, or you get enough investors and develop it yourself. And then you're winning after that, right? So I would say buying land. And it doesn't have to be in your home country. You can go out and venture into other countries, because I've seen plots of lands where you're paying very little for a large land mass. So there's different things out there that you can do. Yeah.
Something to think about. Okay. Years ago, I worked with someone. She was also in the banking industry, and she had invested in land. She's like, I'm buying land. I'm like, land? Why are you buying land? And she's like, that is the easiest way to grow your money. Like, you don't have to do anything. It's going to make its own money and generate like interest over time. And I was like, okay.
I also think another way, you said, how do a group of people do this without raising flags? Maybe, incorporating it. So if it's a group of people, incorporate yourself as a business of some sort, right? So therefore, now you guys are a group of people there, you are an entity, and now you can kind of pool the money together and do what you want to do. But I think for us, when it comes to susus and partners, again, Dean mentions it all the time, you have to have a purpose for the money.
Yes.
Right? A lot of people join partners or susus because they're planning their next big vacation, which is fine. But I think that's a small-minded way of thinking. Because at the end of the day, if you guys are all doing, one thing and coming together and pooling your money, like, again, why don't we come together and pool that money and buy a piece of land?
Yeah.
Or why don't we buy a franchise? Or why don't we buy a business? So again, I think
why not though, Craig? Why aren't we doing that? Like, from your experience, you and Dean's experience, like, why aren't our people investing in more in real estate and in land and where we can grow our money? We're just looking at, yes, I want to go on vacation, right? Or I'm saving it for, I don't know, something frivolous. Why are we not?
Oh, go ahead, Dean. You go ahead.
We have the crabs in a bucket mentality, and we're
Yes.
always watching what the other. We're always watching pockets. Like
Yep.
you think Elon Musk and Mark Cuban watch what the next billionaire has in their pocket? No, and Americans are getting better at it.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboration over competition. And
Yeah.
Mark Cuban also said this too. Would you rather 100% of a grape or 50% of a watermelon?
Mm-hmm.
We always want to keep everything for ourselves instead of let me split this with my brother and my sister and
Mm-hmm.
let's make money together. Let's not see, oh, you're making 100,000 and I'm making 80,000. Who cares? You're making money. That
Mm-hmm.
should be the mindset. If we go in this together, you think ants in a ant farm argue with each other that, oh, I gotta feed the larva, oh, I gotta go out and go harvest. No.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
one's down in battle, if you kill an ant, 10 more are coming to go pick up that one. And they know, like, hey, we got to go protect our own. No, we're too busy saying, nah, you have this. How come I can't have that? Instead of saying, how can I get that? Or can you show me the way you got it so that I can have it too?
Yeah.
We have this, it's our mentality. Like, and it's going back to so far, I don't even know how far it dates back.
How many generations back? Yep.
And
Yep.
we have to nip it in the bud somewhere, right? And for Craig and myself, what we've learned growing up, we don't teach that to our kids. Like, no, we don't say these things. Like, like we stop these things that were like didn't make sense to us and be like, no, like we teach them the right way. Like you
Mhm.
have to be like somebody has to be there to be, you know what? No, that's not the way to do it. This is the way
Yeah.
to do it, right?
Yeah.
So collaboration over competition.
Yeah.
Collaboration. Let me write that one down.
Couldn't
Collaboration over
any
competition.
better. He nailed it on the head. It's like-minded. You have to, if you're gonna do it with a group of people, you guys have to be like-minded. And sometimes what happens is it just has to be a business. When it's too much of a friend type of thing, you don't treat it as a business, it's not gonna operate as a business.
Yeah.
Right. So at the end of the day, when you buy a franchise or if you buy something, you get documentation, you get a receipt, get a lawyer, put things together so things are not only professional, it's organized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bring a lawyer to the table and say, hey, this is what I'm contributing to this group. This is what it is. I find it that when we become too much of a friend type of thing, it kind of falls through the cracks.
Right. Right. And I think that's the big problem, right? There's a comment here. This is how I saved to buy my house through Susu. Yeah. That's actually my
That's
mom.
amazing.
That's my mom. That's my mama. So I learned financial literacy in a different way, but she's always been able to save and do things for like not just small things. I'm saving for this in a big way. So yeah, I told her about the show and she's tuning in. So I want to stay on the crab in the barrel mentality for a little bit and like compare ourselves to different communities. Like for example, I'm thinking about the Indian community, where they can build together, live together in one little house or little apartment until people are able to save enough to buy their own property. Like they're making sure that each one of those people are able to move out and purchase their own property by the time they all leave. Like you said, it goes back generations and generations. And I like the fact that you said, Dean, that you guys are not teaching your kids how we were taught, right? But still, it's hard not to think about what we were taught. Like it's entrenched in us in a way. But how do we get out of that? Like, I know you're saying you don't teach them that. Now, how do you like just forget and just do away with what you were taught, your foundation?
You have to unlearn and relearn. And the hardest thing for people to do is to think. We don't take enough time to just sit there and think, how can I do this? And if we gave ourselves some time, we are able to create solutions for ourselves. Everybody can do it. We're all creators. We're all created in the image of God. So if God created us, we're able to create things too, right? And we have to really tap into that and really say to ourselves, like, if you're down bad, it's like, how do I get myself out of this situation? Like when you hear people's success stories, they all came from a bad place, but they're able to get out of it. They use that as strength, not
Mm-hmm.
as a weakness for themselves. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't be saying, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that." Yeah, obviously you can't do it because that's all you're telling yourself. But if
Mm-hmm.
you start saying, "I can do this," I think like it's I use this all the time, but when I speak to kids, but the little engine that could, I think I can, I know I can do it until the little engine got to the top, right? And it's just continuously just working on these things. Like learning about money or managing money is a skill. It's a skill
Yeah.
that anybody can obtain. So if you're bad with money before, you can become good. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't discipline yourself and learn what you need to learn, obviously it's going to be hard for you, right? Everything's going to be hard. But if you keep pushing through, hard definitely are on the opposite of hard is easy, and it
Right.
comes easy through repetition.
Okay. And would you either one of you would you recommend someone see someone like you a financial are you would you consider yourself to be a financial advisor? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't want that title.
You know
Yeah,
what that's
we don't use that. We don't use it. We like we mentioned before. We use our experiences
mm-hmm.
to educate the masses based on what you can do to work
Mm-hmm.
yourself out of a situation. Like Dean
Mm-hmm.
and I are opposite. Dean had great credit. I had bad credit coming out of college.
Mm-hmm.
It took me about 5 to 6 years to reestablish my credit to purchase my first home.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I did purchase my first home, it was just all excitement. I had
Mm-hmm.
no education behind it, and I never had the closing costs. So
Right.
I never had closing costs. I almost could have lost a home because I didn't know the foundational rules of real estate.
Yes.
So this is what we want to teach people. Yes, is it information in a book? Yes. Is it in Google? Yes, it is. But
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know how to get the information or don't know who to ask for that information.
Right.
So between myself and Dean, we try to create a safe space. And when we're having these conversations, to say, hey, listen, if you don't know, that is simply okay. That's what we would like, because the only way you're gonna be able to get yourself out of anything that's negative, you got to be honest and open with yourself and
Mm-hmm.
have that mindset to learn. Like Dean said, unlearn to relearn. When Dean came to me with that book, the idea, my instant mindset was, we can't do it. We have to get out of
Yes.
that. I can't.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can't, or let you know, I will.
Right. Hmm.
So I think that's just some of the issues that we have as a community. And as you mentioned, as the Indian people, I have Indian friends, and they tell me straight up, they buy one home and it's 10 to 15 people that live in there, but they have a plan. Everybody's gonna get a job, and
Yeah.
when you're next in line, you'll be next in line to get the keys to
Yeah.
purchase and start your own life. But
Yeah.
as Black community, we're always thinking that, oh, I can't live with my sister or brother,
Yeah.
my own space. This is that. Oh my God, I need to be independent. I'm
Yeah.
telling my kids, if you need to stay here as long as you can, stay, because this market out here is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to be able to afford at 25, much less 30?
Yeah. Now. Mm-hmm. Wow. Hmm. Thank you for that. Um, Now knowing that, knowing that we are, um, we're the cause of our parents. Okay, look, let's not blame our parents,
Yeah,
but they it comes from somewhere, right?
she's
It
online.
comes from somewhere,
We got
and she's online. Okay, she's online. She's watching. Comes from somewhere, but how do we that? Like you said, you relearn, you unlearn to relearn. Is that the statement?
Yeah.
Unlearn to relearn. Now, with the two of you, are you're can I call you a specialist in working with, yeah, more youth, or do you also work with adults as well?
Adults as well.
Okay,
Adults as well.
so what is the title that you would use for yourselves then?
Coaches and mentors.
Coaches and mentors.
Coaches and mentors. Okay,
Mhm.
coaches and mentors. Okay, so for those viewers that are listening and watching, Craig and Dean are coaches and mentors, not financial advisors, although they may advise you based on their own experiences. Um, and I think personal experience is the best experience, right?
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
you're teaching.
It's relatable.
If you don't understand what people are going through, you wouldn't be able to teach them things. Okay. All right. Um, let's talk about boundary setting. How do we calculate a remittance budget that allows you to support family um, back home? Do you know about this stuff? So
Um,
we're like, were you born? Were the two of you born here?
Yeah.
Did
But
you have? Do
let me
you
give you
have
some.
like your parents ever send money back home to say, I'm supporting my family back home? How do
Yeah.
we support our family without feeling guilt?
um, I think it's subjective, and everybody's
Mm-hmm,
situation is different.
mm-hmm,
I don't want anybody to feel a type of way, but just
yeah,
answering the question, I heard somebody they wanted to help people, like just help people in general in terms of business, and
yeah,
they were at a seminar and they said you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of others abroad, right?
yeah,
And they're saying, yeah, you're living a life over there, but it really isn't what they really think it's cut out to be. A lot of
mm-hmm,
immigrants come here and they're like, this is not a
mm-hmm,
life I thought I was gonna have here, right? I'm
mm-hmm,
working two jobs and doing trying to find somewhere to live. Then I gotta
mm-hmm,
send back home. So it's like you don't want to stretch yourself too thin because you could also um, suffer from burnout, right? And now if you can't work, then who's getting money? Nobody,
that's
right?
right.
And at
Mm-hmm,
the same time, it's a tough conversation that you have to have with your family. Like,
mm-hmm,
yeah, I'm working here, but this is all I could do, and it's not something where it's like the well's gonna get dry one day. Like, you can't fully depend on me all the time. Like, what's your plan of action, right?
yes,
Are you just gonna be sitting at home waiting for that monthly check? Like,
mm-hmm,
it's a conversation that needs to be had. Like, too many
yeah,
people, it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna foreign, send me some money, blah blah. It's like, no, like that's not how it works. You think
yeah,
foreign life is good life too? Like, no, a lot of people over here in foreign are struggling.
that's
We have
right.
to be real. Like, yeah, like our dollar is better here than and it can stretch over there, but it's like, what's the plan of action? It's like,
Yeah,
what are you doing to help yourself? Like, if you're dependent on me, then no, there's gonna be a cutoff time. Like, I'm not doing this forever.
yeah,
But that's just me personally. Like, I'm that type of person. Like, I'm like black and white about things when it comes to certain things. Like, no, like you want me to do something. What's the end date? Like, I'm not doing this forever. I don't work for you. Because if I
mm-hmm,
work for you, then you should be paying me, not me paying you, right?
right, right,
So
right.
that's just me. Like, I'm just kind of like that. But other people are not like that. Like, they have a softer heart. They're like, no, I can't do that to them or whatever. But
Mm-hmm,
you got to draw the line somewhere, and it's
yeah.
having that difficult conversation.
Right,
Yeah.
because sometimes they become dependent on you to the point where they don't want to go out and do anything for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Okay,
that's the
yeah,
biggest thing with boundaries is just being transparent.
mm-hmm,
So transparency is just being able to have that discussion, because I think, like Dee mentioned, if you don't give that deadline or set aside, okay, well, after 4 weeks, what is your plan of action? Then they become dependent, and when they become dependent on you, as an individual that feels that they have to be able to support their family, you set on more anxiety for yourself. And then
mm-hmm,
you may feel less self-worth when you're not able to send that amount. And then it plays on your mental to say, hey, I'm the caregiver. I need to be able to send this a month time. But if you don't have that conversation just based on transparency, say, hey, this is what I have, or this is what I can give, or this is what I cannot give.
yeah,
What I'm going through, you know, here in my world, as opposed to, wherever you are abroad, wherever it may be, letting them know what you can do and how long you can do it is really, really key. And then letting
mm-hmm,
them know that, hey, you need to have a plan of action, because you can't depend on me, especially if, again, I'm pouring into an empty cup, because I
right,
have nothing else to give. And a lot of people, especially from our background, is the ego is very, very big, and
mm-hmm,
feel that if they don't, if they're not able to, pull up and say, hey, I'm gonna do this, it does something within their self to say, hey, you know what? I'm no longer worthy. I used to be
yeah.
this, I'm no longer that. But it's okay, like Dee mentions, it's okay to say no. It
Thank you for giving grace to people because sometimes they feel obligated and a sense of obligation. I'm the one that was able to leave, and I'm the one who's supposed to turn back and support and help. But it's not always bed of roses. And sometimes we have to be transparent and we have to tell our family that it's not easy right now. And maybe at this moment, I cannot support. I cannot support you and I can't help you. So I like that transparency aspect. There's a comment that just came in. I'm not sure if he's there, so I'll put it up. People want to do things themselves. They don't want to say, this person helped me.
That's an ego. That's an ego problem. That's
yeah.
Your ego will get in your way so many times, and it's like that little help could take you so far, and it's like, no, I want to do it myself. It's like, if I have the shortest path to reaching your goal, and that takes only, let's say, 3 months, but you trying to figure it out yourself takes 3 years. You just get, that's an opportunity cost. That costed you 3 years that you could have got to that path much faster because you said, I want to do it myself. Your pride and your egos, it's not helping you. It's bringing you down.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped saying, you know what, I can figure out everything. I go out there and I pay for coaches and mentors to teach me stuff that I don't know because they're ahead of me. I don't like the life that I had trying to figure it out on my own. I've missed out on so many opportunities because I thought I was the smartest person in the room and try to figure it out. I said, you know what, if that person has a shortcut and the fastest path for me to reach my goal, why not just pay the money and just do it? Not saying that you have to go out there and pay money for that, but like just asking for help, you can get so much further. Like, people don't want to ask questions in class. I was the first one to sit right in front of the class. I didn't understand something. I raised my hand. Guess what? I was in college. I used to take computers, and I took this one class. It was so hard. I just didn't understand what this teacher was teaching. I was like, it was like a foreign language she was speaking, and I was failing. But I said, you know what? Let me go ask for help. Because if I don't ask for help, I'm going to have to repeat the class and I'm going to have to pay money.
Pay more money.
So therefore, you having that ego can cost you instead of just going asking for that little help. So when I had that experience with her, I said, anytime I need help with something, I'm not going to be the one not to ask for it. I'm going to go put my pride aside and go ask for that help because I need it. Like, who cares? Like, you think Jordan says, I did this on my own? No, Jordan had coaches. You think LeBron says he did this on his own? No, LeBron has a massage therapist that's getting the knots out of his back. He pays $1 million to be in the best shape possible so that he can excel at the level he's at. So it's like, to me, it's like drop your pride and ego. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's costing you more than to ask for that help.
Yeah, great analogies, actually. It makes sense. And I don't know why. It's just like I've approached some cousins of mine to buy a home, not here in Canada, but abroad, like in Trinidad specifically. And I said, let's get together and buy this home together. What do you think? Like, should we approach our other cousins? And they're like, no, I think people are going to have problems investing their money into this because they are going to want a bigger piece or that it's not going to be separated equally. And I'm like, this is why we don't have anything, because we always want to think about what the other person has and how much are you going to put in. Not everyone's going to be able to invest the same amount of money. And I don't think, we don't work all in the same industry.
Okay, so
yeah,
that's okay if people can't contribute, but that's why you have lawyers. As a
go.
family, you go get a family lawyer, say, hey, this is what we're putting in. It's not going to be all the same amount. And we're going to break it down by shares.
Yeah.
Like I said, other backgrounds do this. And they do it religiously and they do it successfully. But they do it the right way. Like, we're always trying to either put a wrench in something or like Dean mentioned, everyone's watching someone else.
Yeah.
So when you become watching someone else and wondering what they're doing, then you're losing vision of what the end goal is supposed to be.
Okay.
Also, businesses do that all the time. Nobody invests the same amount. If you go to the stock market, publicly traded companies, I can own 1 share of Facebook. Craig can own 10,000 shares.
Yeah.
We still own the same business.
Right.
That's all it is. But if you're looking at that person has more than me, then you're not equipped to be running that business. You got to start fixing the way you're looking at things because you're looking at it through the wrong lens.
Okay. Let's take some time to talk about the business that you have when working for, not for the TDSB, but as a partner to the TDSB, what you do in the school. So maybe there's a viewer out there that may be interested in hiring you for service, maybe not for students at a school per se, but maybe seniors group, or maybe just adults in general that need some financial literacy on saving or investing. So tell us a little bit about the job or the business that you have.
So I guess, well, we'll start from the, I guess, business to business. Being a TDSB partner, um, how we kind of approach it. A lot of people. So first of all, a lot of people don't even know that we're within the school board. Like, a lot of people don't know that. So we have to kind of reintroduce ourselves, through principals or through superintendents, and then once we get in front of those platforms and tell them who we are and our objective and our purpose, it becomes a lot easier. So we usually just, and sometimes if we can't call a school, we'll just drive right in. We'll pull up and say, hey, we're a TDSB partner. We want to know how we can support your school in teaching financial literacy. So we do it that way as well. But once we do kind of get through that first initial level by talking to the principal and or talking to the superintendent, we create that relationship. Then we kind of get down to say, okay, how do we cater our content to the current curriculum that's in right now for financial literacy?
Okay.
And then what we do different than other organizations is it's how we relate that content. So it's fun, it's engaging, and it's meant to be facilitated in a way that once it clicks, it's like a aha moment. It's like, okay, it clicks. Okay, how do I go forward with this? And we offer various different type of programs, just talking about, like, again, budgeting, credit, investing, and financial planning. That's how we talk about it, but we tie it back towards the curriculum, so it makes sense to the teachers, because we're not in the business to take teachers' jobs. That's not what we're doing. We are collaborating with the TDSB to kind of bring both content together, or both heads together, to try to make sure this information is not only attainable, but it makes sense. We just throw a flair into it that makes it a little bit different, so it's fun. Like, we know, for instance, we did something, yesterday with kids, and, they're hyped to see us the next week. Okay, like, we learned this. Okay, what's next? That's how we thrive off of it. And that's how we continue to do business to business type of relationships with the TDSB. When it comes to individuals that want to start their own business and or want coaching and mentoring, we have a website. We have our IG, and anybody that wants to get in contact with Checks Over Strikes, I guess we'll provide our information later on. But kind of have that, we have that level up meeting. So say, for instance, you want to start your business and you need some help or mentorship starting your business, we have a level up meeting. We have a meeting that is a consultation meeting, and it's about maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And we kind of discuss how we're going to get you to that, how we're going to help you execute your plan or your program. And that takes 4 weeks, that may take 8 weeks. It solely depends on you, how far you want to do it. Like, how far you really want to execute your dream or your passion. And we're like a puzzle. We just put the parts to the puzzle and help you see it and uncover it based on what you want to do. Because sometimes it's a lot of things. It's like people just need that extra push, or some people don't know how to register a business. So then we walk you through that. How does that look like? Because we all know that, especially with the Black community, we're doing a million things, but none of our businesses are registered.
Yeah.
I'm a braider, or I'm a consultant, or I do this, but hey, are you registered? Do you have a card? No, I'm not registered.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what we hear a lot. So why is your company not registered? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. And because the biggest thing with individuals is they look at, it's always a cost and effect. But what we always tell people, the biggest investment is going to be yourself.
Right.
Like for myself and Dean, we didn't learn everything by ourselves. We got coach and mentors to help us through our journey, so we're
Mhm.
able to take this content we have and we're able to spread it to the masses.
Yeah.
We did it by ourselves because we were trying to, but we were dropping the ball because we weren't
Mhm.
expertise in certain areas.
Right. So now you can in turn speak to someone and say, you know, we did this, so we know that's not going to work. Consider trying this
Yes.
because this
Or
is
or
definitely
or have you thought about taking this avenue?
okay.
And then sometimes it's just having that reflection. Some people, they get into something, and sometimes they end up telling us, you know what, that wasn't my vision. Thank you for having this conversation, because now I know that it takes X, Y, and Z to do what I need to do. I'm not
Right.
there yet, or I'm not
Right.
ready yet.
Okay. All right, good. I like that because there is a difference between, you know, when you do register your business, like being a sole proprietor and a incorporation. So that's another conversation, I guess, once you meet with people, different options to go over with them.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people, well, I kind of do understand why people don't register their businesses, but at the same time, there's liability that can
Yes.
play a factor into that when you don't register your business. I've had several different types of business myself, so I understand that the liability factor. So, with the workshops at school, so you're already a partner. So you said sometimes you just contact the school directly, or um, the school might seek you out.
Yes.
Generally,
Yeah.
someone like
Yeah.
me, like coming across your profile and saying, "Hey, those are the guys who wrote that book.
Yeah.
I want them at my school." But then there's a stumbling block where um, I have to go now because I'm not the principal. I'm not the administrator at my school. I don't do the financial piece, but I can encourage um, them to consider. Right. So,
Mhm.
is it usually the principal that reaches out, or just through word of mouth with the TDSB, or is it, you know, we're looking for this type of workshop and then they contact you? How does that work?
It's a blended mixture. So
Hmm.
different departments will contact us. Not really just one sole department. So it could be the principal, it could be a teacher, it
Hmm.
could be an organization within the school board. So it's a
Okay.
combination of things.
All right. Okay. All right. So take an opportunity to also talk about your book because we're winding down. Take a few minutes. We have like 2 or 3 minutes
Mhm.
to talk about your book and also give us contact like information again.
Mhm. So our book is pretty much written for the people. It's called "Don't Be a Waste," the financial literacy guide, and we tackled the four main areas that we felt that everybody needs to know when it comes to their money. So that's saving, investing, budgeting, and investing. So it's 4 chapters, very easy read. It's only about 60 pages. And we speak in a way that people understand. We don't use any financial jargon. If we do use a jargon, we're explaining it in a way that is easy for anybody to understand. Like, for example, the stock market. One thing that everybody can understand is shoes and the shoe flipping game. So, if you understand how shoe flipping works, you can understand how the stock market works. Same principle,
Hmm.
different arena. You buy low, you sell high. Same thing with stocks and real estate. Also, at the back of our book, we have a 52-week savings challenge, and this can help you save your first $1,000. I did this challenge a couple years ago, and I was able to save my first $10,000 and turn that $10,000 into a $100,000 life insurance policy. And we also added some side hustles if people are struggling to think about that. Don't Be a Waste, the financial literacy guide. So it's on Amazon, or you can get it on our website, checksoverstrikes.com. So that is our book, easy read. If you want to get a copy, you can hit us up on IG, checksoverstrikes.com. You can check out our website, purchase the book there. We suggest using our website over Amazon because Amazon takes a pretty big fee, but we just want to make
Yes.
sure that we
Yes.
get it out to masses so that when people come across it and say, hey, like, so that the book's there. But also, if you do purchase a book, we kindly ask if you can leave us a honest review on the Amazon website. It helps with them just pushing out the book. And yeah, if you have Instagram, you can find us on checksoverstrikes.com or Checks Over Strikes. We also have a YouTube page. We're going to be trying to work back in doing our podcast because we did start one.
Yeah.
Just, things get in the way sometimes, but we're most definitely going to be jumping back onto the podcast. So if you are somebody that is on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button because that is the one challenge that we're having. We want to get to at least, I think you need at least 50 people before you can do actual live streams.
Yep, that's what I had to do to go live as well. So yes, I will go and subscribe to your channel. And please do, for the people that are watching, go and subscribe to their channel. We need more financial literacy in our community. And these two gentlemen are very knowledgeable about what they're talking about. So don't forget to subscribe. Yes.
And just last thing to leave off with, if you learned anything today, make sure you share that information with somebody because if you're not sharing that information, you're being selfish.
Lovely. I love it. Craig, last words? Any last words for you from the...
last words, it's just, I don't want to be, what's the word?
A waste you? No.
Yes. Yeah, most definitely don't be a waste you. But
yes.
I think, moving stronger together is such a powerful thing. Again, us as Black individuals, if we move stronger together, we just move forward. And if you don't know something, just say you don't know.
Yes.
Like I think that it sounds so simple, but there's so many people that are dying inside because they don't know something and they don't know how to articulate what they don't know, or they don't know who to reach out to. But just reach out to somebody because somebody will have the answer.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the viewers. I really appreciate your time, Dean and Craig, for coming on Checks Over Strikes. Go follow them on Instagram. They're starting back their YouTube channel. Is it called Checks Over Strikes?
Yes.
All right. So Checks Over Strikes, follow them and subscribe. They need 50 subscribers in order to go live. We need to hear more financial literacy. Thank you so much. Thank you for the viewers for tuning in to Minds in Motion, where you get real talk, real strategies, and real solutions. Have a good night. See you next week on Minds in Motion. Take care.
I'm talking Joe Podcast, Minds in Motion. Talk about relationships, help your emotions, behavior management when your kids start to losing it. Talk about life and all the confusion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships. I'm talking Joe Podcast, Minds in Motion. Talk about relationships, help your emotions, behavior management when your kids start to losing it. Talk about life and all the confusion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships.